What is indeed going on, people? This is Jonah Pittman, and welcome back to a live sports reaction, the first of many sports reactions. And you've seen the title of the video, Why Did the Chicago Bears Show Up So Unprepared, especially on defense? I don't know exactly what the hell it was, It was a lot of just bad play calling, a lot of bad player execution. It just looked at just absolutely horrible. Now, of course, the offense did look good on the first drive. They did look good on a lot of key drives. It was just that just terrible player execution. Andy Dalton not finding the open man. It'd be an open man streaming right past him. He'd throw to a man that is covered by a DB or two, and it just led to just being absolutely just horrible play calling and player execution all the way through. Now, one of the main culprits that didn't show up in this game was Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson looked very incompetent. It's like ever since he's been paid, he has not looked good whatsoever. He has just fallen off the rails. Of course, 2020, we thought he was going to make a return. He had a few interceptions called back also, but it seems like, yeah, basically since 2019, after he got paid, he has not shown up. He's gotten worse and worse every year. It's like I don't know what the hell it is. Players just seems to play well for our team in the beginning, and then they get paid, and then they just can't perform anymore. Eddie Jackson has been a huge disappointment. Yeah, it's only one game of the season, but just allowing open wide receivers down the field like that just made it look that much worse. Him and Deshaun Gibson just definitely has to get it together. Just a whole defensive unit as a whole just seems like they just broke down in the second half, allowing 21 points scored in the second half after holding them to 13 points. And everything looked like it was starting to go right for the Bears. They scored a touchdown at the end of the half. David Montgomery scoring his first touchdown of the season. First half, Ogletree went Mike Tyson mode on the Rams O line on that one play. Absolutely, he was tripping. The Bears get a stop, and then just like that, it turns into a first down because he wanted to taunt somebody and stand over players. It was just very incompetent all the way around. I just don't know what the hell the Bears season will come upon us, but just strictly based on this one game. Of course, it is just one game, but that one game can reflect a lot on your team and let you know exactly what you're in for. Usually, the first game tells you a lot, and so far right now, it's not looking good. It's looking like it's going to be real ugly for our Bears. So I don't know exactly what it is going to be. Pretty soon, of course, Justin Fields is going to come in because, as we can see, Andy Dalton it's not that man. You know, the Bears drive down the field right away. The first drive of the game, David Montgomery rushes for a 41-yard gain after an excellent kick return by Khalil Herbert. And then instead of making a safe throw where it was an open man across the middle for a shallow route, allow him to get yards after the catch and continue to drive the ball down the field and get a first down and possibly a touchdown. Instead, he throws a costly interception. I wouldn't worry about the Bengals in week two. Man, based on how the Bears performed and how well the Bengals performed, this could be a very tough game for the Chicago Bears, or it can turn out that the Bears fuck around and lose that game as well. Because even though that game went to overtime with Minnesota, they was blowing out Minnesota. They just took their foot off the gas pedal and allowed Minnesota to take control of the game, but they got the control back towards the end of the game and won it 27-24. So, of course, just based on everything I've seen just in this week one, the Bears is going to have a very tough season because the Bengals is not as bad as what I thought they would be. Yeah, they can be a little incompetent on defense, but that don't mean nothing if your Bears team is very unprepared like there was in this week. They just was completely unprepared at almost every phase of the game. Wide receivers was dropping passes, just incompetent play calling by Matt Nagy, calling constant wide receiver screens when you know already that you have little wide receivers out there. If you're going to run a wide receiver screen, why not have big receivers out there that can block? Why do you try to have Demir Bird out there trying to block Jalen Ramsey? Demir Bird like 5'8", 175 pounds. So I'm like, I don't know, man. Don't worry, we'll send you Minnesota 0 for 2 for you. Hey man, it is what it is, man. I'm just hoping that the Bears can not be so incompetent and look so unprepared because if so, the Bears is going to lose a lot of games this year. They're definitely going to lose because it is what it is. You know, the only thing that the only positive things in the game was the simple fact that in the beginning of it, when Jason Peters was on the field, there was nothing happening to Andy Dalton. He had plenty of time to throw the football. He just was making goofy ass plays out there, and they was able to run the ball very fairly easily on a Rams defense that was like ranked number one against the run last year. So the Bears did expose one thing, that this Rams defense will not be exactly the same as it was last year. They still is phenomenal in terms of being the in terms of the defensive backs, but their linebacking core and their defensive line is not as stout in terms of stopping the run like it was last year. So the Bears did at least expose that, and they did show that they can move the football up and down the field, having over 300 yards total for the game, but it was just not good overall. Dalton was throwing checkdowns all game, did nothing special, of course, because the Los Angeles Rams did not allow him to be able to throw the ball down the field. The one time that he did throw the ball down the field, it got tipped in the air in the beginning of the game, and and that's what caused that interception and took points off the board. You know, the Bears could at least walked away with 3 points to start off the game, but instead they ended up with zero. Why is that? It's because they just didn't do what they were supposed to do, and you always have to take what the defense gives you. And Andy Dalton was doing that for the most part, but it was at times where he had guys just streaming across his face wide open. He would just pass them up like I seen a few plays like a few times with Cole Kmet across the middle. Nobody's guarding him. No one's guarding him. He got a good 10, 15 yards before somebody get to him. But instead, he throws the ball to Allen Robinson, who was covered heavily by a DB. And guess what? It wasn't a catch. It was turnover on downs. Now, of course, it was one time where Allen Robinson was just literally mauled before the ball got to him, and the refs did not throw a flag. But either way, that didn't change the outcome of the game. It just changed the outcome of that play, basically during that time, changed momentum of that series at that time. But I don't know exactly. Do you think the Lions could beat Green Bay next week? I don't know. I don't know. You know, Green Bay did look pretty asinine. The whole division looked asinine this week. You know, everybody lost. So there is a strong possibility because the Lions showed that they not going to be as bad as they possibly could be. I thought they was going to be absolutely horrible, flat out get smoked with no chance of being able to come back, and they almost came back and beat the 49ers after getting their ass handed to them majority of the game. So they let me know that the Lions at least have some fight in them. So there's a strong chance that the Lions can mess around and beat the Packers, especially if Aaron Rodgers turn around and play that type of game he played against the Saints. It's possible, but don't trust the Lions. Yeah, you know, I'm still in between that, you know, trusting the Lions or not, because of course the Lions is a poverty franchise that has not played well in a while. You know, they didn't play well with Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, of course, went to the Rams and did his thing, but now I don't know what they're gonna do with Jared Goff. You know, they still have no name receivers, but those no name receivers was looking pretty damn good. They did put up 33 points. The only sad part is they gave up 41, so we don't know exactly what's gonna happen. I'm just waiting on Only excuse for Nagy for okay. I don't know, man. He sat Justin Fields. Justin Fields probably should have played a little bit more. I'm pretty sure Nagy gonna still do the same exact thing that he been doing. He's gonna say, like he said last year, where we're at, where we're at, where we're at. This is where we're at right now. That's how he talk. He says the same exact line every single time. Only how the Bears will end up starting Justin Fields if the Bears end up going 0-3, which is a strong possibility that they could start the season out 0-3, losing the first 3 games of the season before they take on the Lions in week 4. That's the earliest possibility. I did do a video on that. What is the strongest possibilities that Justin Fields can start? And one of them, of course, is week 4. Week 4, I think week 8, week 12, week 9. I can't remember it fully exactly, but just check out the video. It is available in my previous videos. I guess it's yeah, top 5 ways that Justin Fields can end up starting this season. So that's exactly how it is. Let me see. Notice how Fields had more touchdowns than Dalton and didn't even start. Yeah, Justin Fields did look explosive out there in the sample size that we did see him in, especially on that rushing touchdown, getting his first NFL touchdown of his career. It seems like he's going to have a lot more, bar none, unless injuries take hold. Hopefully, that does not happen. He doesn't have a serious injury that holds him back in his career. But so far this season, man, the Bears is gonna have it rough. But when Justin Fields does come in, it's gonna look exceptional for our team. So I already know what it's gonna be. He gonna be able to turn things around. But that's only on the offensive side of the ball. Sean Desai has to get his defensive players better prepared because they just did not look very good. It was a lot of missed tackles. In the first half, they was only giving up the pass. They wasn't giving up the run. They were shutting down the run for the most part. And then basically after they scored their 13 points, the defense just started clamping down on the Rams, and they was having them do 3-and-outs. They were starting to make stops. They were starting to do everything like they were supposed to. Even sacks Stafford a few times. But after that, after the second half hit, it was like they just couldn't do anything. They gave up that touchdown. It was 20-7, and then the Bears came down the field and scored again, made it 14-20. I'm thinking that the Bears is going to be able to make some plays and get some more stops because they was looking good towards the end of that second quarter, going to the second half, and then just like that, it was over. If they start 0-2, they start Fields versus the Browns. I promise you. Probably so, man. Probably so. That's. But I don't know if they're gonna put him out there against the Browns. I think they're gonna wait at least one more week because it is still a 17 games season. So that additional game, they will mess around and sit Fields. If it was a 16 game schedule, then I would say absolutely. I promise you, they will be. You are right, Butters, on that. But because it is a 17 game season for now on, most likely they're going to wait until after they go against those tough defenses and put them in against the Lions. Have them go against some easy competition, still get some NFL speed experience on him, but basically make sure that he has easier opponents to get his confidence up and get an easy victory. Everyone is saying cut Eddie Jackson. You ain't Eddie Jackson is not finna get cut. He might get traded, but he not going to get cut. At least not this season. The Bears is going. I already know how the Bears is going to do it. They're going to wait until it gets close to the midseason and see if they got any offers. If he's not playing well, and if he does play fairly well enough, and if he doesn't make another Pro Bowl, then they probably will try to see if they can trade him. But that contract is pretty goddamn big, so I don't know if a lot of teams is willing to take that salary cap hit and keep them from possibly signing a key free agent that they might need during this off season. So I don't know exactly what it is. Should Eddie Jackson be cut though? I don't know. man, the last couple of seasons has been pretty goddamn rough. We've been looking at it. We all been looking at how he just made his descent from being known as one of the top safeties in the league. At one point top 10, people was even arguing top five for what he did in 2017, 2018, and 2019. The way he was able to come out and have five defensive touchdowns uh, throughout his first two seasons. I believe what three, no, six defensive touchdowns throughout his career so far. And it's just like it just seems like he's just not able to get it together. I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if it's because he got paid or what. But Eddie Jackson just looks very incompetent out there. And also Tayshawn Gibson. Even the Bears cornerbacks didn't look the best. It was just a lot of blown coverages. So yeah, one thing we do know that Sean Desai is not Vic Fangio. I know that for a fact, and it's gonna be and it's funny because I'm gonna laugh on it when if Sean Desai continues to call plays like this and it continue to be blown coverages. That's a strong possibility that people might be asking for Chuck Pagano to come back, and that's sad because Chuck Pagano just definitely put our Bears team in terrible positions constantly, but at least he had them in some type of position to make sure that they didn't get beat deep, exactly like they did constantly in this goddamn game. That's one thing that Chuck Pagano did do. He did make sure that the teams was not going to beat the Bears deep. Not like that. Not how bad they was getting their ass blasted in this game. They straight up got butt fucked the whole goddamn game. So I don't know. This could be rough, and the Bears could be getting fucked on this whole goddamn season instead of doing the fucking. So let's hope that the Bears can definitely get their shit together. But this is Jonah Pimney bringing it back to you with another sports reaction. I will be dropping a pregame video, most likely, probably at the end of the day when the Bears take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Just make sure to tune into that, and once again, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and do everything else, man. I'm Jonah Pimney once again talking about the Chicago Bears, and we are out.